Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. So today we are going to discuss about Maharashtra CT DILR, how to solve DI sets. Okay, like what is the structure of DI? What kind of DI sets you get in MH CT? How are they different from the ones from other examinations, etc.? What are the number of questions per set? And what are some of the things that you must be expert with? And probably will solve one set also as a practice in this session. Okay, so good evening all. Maharashtra CT notification should be out soon, right? I mean, even if it is like, you should not wait for the notification. The examination will be held, maybe may not be in April, but maybe in May. Okay, it might get delayed also. Like, it won't get delayed like last year's, because that was an exception, right? But if still, like, it will be I mean, not the normal time, of course, because March, by mid-March, the examination used to happen. So it is the last examination of the season. And if you are targeting it, you should be serious from now itself. You should not be waiting ki notification aega, then you will start the preparation. Okay, so today we are going to solve some, like, to understand what are the things that you need to master for data interpretation. So in case you have done good in your MBA entrance examinations and want to prepare with us for VAT and PI, you can enroll with us on our programs. So let us first know what is the structure of data interpretation, right? How many questions do you get from data interpretation? Is it something that you can skip in the examination, or something that you should be doing in the examination? Okay. So if we talk about the DI part, till 2020, there used to be three sets. Okay, and it was fixed three sets, 15 to 18 questions. So basically 5 to 6 questions per set. It could be like 7, 6, 5, or uh, in that range. So generally around 15 to 18 questions across three sets. Okay, and it used to be not so difficult, generally on the easy to moderate level. Okay? Easy to moderate level, that is the structure. Last year the examination was of different thing, right? There were 6 slots, very much inconsistency across the slots. I don't know how did they do the normalization. Okay, so there were 2 to 5 sets. There were some slots wherein there were just 2 sets. Sometimes in some of the slots there were even 5 sets. Okay, so the number of questions in DI was around 10 to 20 out of 200. So till 2020, it was a very structured test, right? So you had 50 questions in QA, out of which these 15 to 18 were DI questions. Now, last year there was no fixed number of questions. Some of the some of the slots had more questions of quant, some had less, and so on. But the number of DI questions ranged from 10 to 20, somewhere between 10 to 20 questions. Okay. Now, what are the type of DI sets that you can get in Maharashtra CET? How it is see, there are certain examinations like CAT has logical DI. Okay, you will not get any logical sort of DI in MHCT. Okay, like you have some things like games and tournaments and all. So those kind of topics are not asked in Maharashtra CT. So what are the type of DI that you should confine yourself to is, it could be a complete data table. They ask you some calculations based on it, or some missing table plus with some info. So extra info would be given in questions and so on. Okay. Then you have bar graph, line graph, pie chart. These are the standard chart-based questions that you get in this. Okay, and then we have caselets. Caselets are your paragraph-based data interpretation. Okay, then multi-graphs that could involve like a double pie, or it could be bar plus pie chart, right? Or those kind of graphs where multiple entities are involved. Okay, so that is another kind of graph, bar plus line graph. So those kind of sets wherein multiple graphs are involved. Okay, and then you have arithmetic based DI also. Since it was earlier conducted by your this thing IBPS, right? So it used to have arithmetic based DI, like questions on profit loss. Okay, so those kind of problems are also tested in it. So these are the things that one needs to prepare for data interpretation. Now, in order to do well in data interpretation, what are some things that you need to master, right? What are some of the skills that you need? Okay, so maybe your quant is okay, not great. Maybe you are not good with geometry and mensuration. Maybe you are not good with permutation combination. But there are certain things that you have to be good for DI. Okay, so that means like percentages is something that is very very important, right? By percentages, not only I mean that percentage increase or decrease. Okay, what is the meaning of percentage increase, percentage decrease, and all those? Apart from that, these are uh, the fractions. Okay, for example, if I say 1 by 8, you should be able to recall that it is just 12.5%. You should not be calculating such numbers. Okay, so 3 by 8, it should immediately come to your mind is 37.5%. Okay, if it is let us say 6 by 7, so 85.71%. So those kind of fractions, the conversion of fractions and percentages should be crystal clear to you. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to master: the percentages, the basics, the concepts. What is percentage increase, what is percentage decrease? When it says how much percent more, how much percent less, how do you compare that? Okay, then related to ratios, how to use ratios and all those things. Averages, how to find averages in an efficient way, how when values are increased, how does the average change, etc. And some calculation hacks, right? So like for example, the concept of last digit, right? Divisibility, etc. Those kind of things you need to have known, right? Because it is purely calculation based. It won't be like you have to apply some extra knowledge kind of thing, right? Pure calculation based. So these things you need to be clear with, right? Some fast calculation techniques, how to multiply fast, how to find squares of numbers, right? And all those things. Okay, so let's do one set. Okay, now this is a moderately difficult set for the examination. It's a case that it says that there are 1400 employees in an organization, and the ratio between male and female employees is given to you, and there are 5 departments also, and some more information is given in the form of caselet. So that is what a caselet is. They give you some text, and from that text you have to generate data and then answer the questions, right? So read it, solve it, and then we shall discuss it. So take some time, take some 5 minutes, read this information, create a table, and then try answering the questions. Okay? So Gagan, CMAT has more colleges in its radar than MAT. Okay, CMAT is accepted by more number of colleges. So in my opinion, CMAT is a better examination because a lot of colleges accept CMAT scores. MAT scores are also accepted, but if you talk about some decent colleges, there are not very good ones through MAT. So Rohit, we do not have any specific course for CET. Right? We have a general MBA preparation course, no specific one for CET. CMAT good for non-engineers, so there is nothing in C's. The colleges through CMAT do not differentiate between engineers and non-engineers. Okay, so it says that there are 1400 employees and the ratio between male and female employees is given to you, and there are 5 departments. So we'll have a table like this: the production, operations, marketing, accounts, and HR. These are the 5 departments. Then we have employees, male and female employees. You can have the total as well. So that's how we'll have a table like this. Okay. Now it says that there are 1400 employees. The ratio between male and female employees is 4:3. Okay. So 4:3 means 7 parts. 7 parts are 1400. Okay. 7 parts are 1400. So one part will be 200. So this will be 800 and 600. That is the first thing that is given to us, right? So then it is saying that the organization has 5 departments, given 5% of the employees work in the HR department. So 1400 employees, 5% will be 1% will be 14, 5% will be 70 employees work in the HR department. Okay. Now it says it is the only department that has equal number of employees of both genders. So male and female both equal, 35 and 35. Okay, so we'll have to just proceed and then fill in the values. Has anyone filled it yet? LR is CAT level in CET. No, LR is not at all CAT level. LR has basic puzzles like arrangement and all those, right? You won't get uh, like typical like in CAT you have very diverse topics of LR, right? So those kind of not topics are not there. Okay, so Anirudh has calculated the number. So let us see. Anyone else who has calculated it? So now let us see this. So we have calculated the number of employees in HR department. Now 10% of the female employees work in production department. So there are 600 female employees. So 60 female employees in production department. Okay. The ratio of the number of male to female employees in the production department is 5:1. Right. So male ratio female is 5:1. This number is 60. So 5 times of 60 is 300. 300 males here. The account department has 150 employees, of which 80 are male. So account has 150, 80 male, 70 female employees. Okay, simple. The ratio between female employees working in the marketing and operations department is 2:1. Marketing and operations department is 2:1. So suppose this number is x, this x, so this will be 2x. Right, so we can easily find the value of x. So we have 3x plus 165. This is 130 plus 35, that is 165 is equal to 600. So 3x is equal to 435. Okay, so you'll get x is equal to 145. I hope you must have got this value, right? We know this value is given to us, this value is given, this value is given. We are given this is in ratio 1:2. Okay, so we get 145 and this will be 290. Okay, now we are given that the operations department has 20 more male employees than its female employees. So there are 145 female employees, male employees will be 165. Okay, the question is how many employees are there in the operations department? So add this, you shall get 310. The answer is 310. Okay, so Anirudh, you got it right. It was simple, right? This is the type that you get in Maharashtra CT. Okay, this is the level of questions that you get. You are given some passage, right? Read that passage, fill the data into the table and solve it. Okay, now let us also fill this value. We have to fill this. So 165 plus 35, 200, 500, 580. 800 minus 580, that is 220. So this will be your value here. And did you get this value? Okay, have you got this table, same table? Now, generally, the sets there will have 4 to 5 questions, at least 4 to 5 questions, maybe even 6 questions. And hope this year they have the normal pattern, okay, the standard pattern that you used to have previously also, right? So that's so that like you have some standard, everyone gets the same level of questions. Okay, so this is what we will get as the table. What is the ratio between the number of male employees in marketing and operations department? If you solve this, you should be able to answer this question, that ratio between male employees in marketing and operations department. So marketing it is 220, operations it is 165. Okay, so you can divide by 4, 44, 33. Okay, so you can say 4:3. 4:3 is the right answer. Which of the following statements is correct? Given 4 statements, read the statements and look at the values and tell that which of the following statements. So first statement says the maximum number of employees are in the production department. No, it is not in the production, it is the marketing department. 30% of the male employees work in marketing department. So there are 800 male employees, 30% is 240. Okay, that is not correct. 45% of the employees work in the operations department. So total employees are 1400, right? 1400, 45% is, see, I'll tell you some hacks also. Like these kind of hacks you should know, right? 14 into 45, if you do not know how to multiply by 14, I can do it. 7 into 90, that is 630. Okay, so it says 630 employees in the operations department. Again, that is wrong. Marketing is the only department in which the number of male employees is less. So obviously it has to be correct, right? So three wrong statements, fourth statement has to be correct. Okay, that is option D. What percentage of the male employees work in the marketing department? What percent of male employees work in the marketing department? So marketing department, there are 220 employees, male employees, and there are total 800 male employees, right? So 220 by 8 you can say. So that is, you can divide by 4, 55 by 2, which gives you 27.5%. 27.5%. So this is what you get as the level of questions, right? As I said that like if you talk about the CET DI, you do not have logical DI. Okay, you do not have logical DI that you have to think like there will be some matrix of numbers, you have to fill those numbers or some kind of those things, right? So those things are not present there. You just have calculation based DI. So you need to have some understanding of different charts. Okay, of course, that everyone knows how to read them. You should have some knowledge of percentage, ratio, average. Okay, so you should be good with finding these things. Okay, and basically some calculation hacks, right? How to multiply fast in some cases, how to find percentages, how to convert fractions, percentages, fractions, etc. So those are the things one needs to master in order to do well in DI, because you do not have logical DI wherein you have to think out of the box. Now, is it a good thing to do attempt DI sets? I would say yes, because like if you talk about quant, right? Quant, you need to have covered all the concepts, right? So and you have individual questions. Here you have group questions. Let us say you filled some data table, maybe two of the questions you might require the same values, right? And when you attempt some set questions, you are in a flow, right? You know, understand the data. Yes, in the question, okay, it was asked about A and C. This is about B and D. I can read from the graph and solve them, right? So you should see that if the sets contain a good number of questions, like 4 or 5 questions from that thing, or if you have a caselet like this, then definitely you should attempt that, because individual questions definitely take more time in most of the cases except a few. So that is why you should target these questions DI, and you should have good holdover percentages, averages, ratios, and some basic calculations. If you are good with that, you can excel in the DI part. Okay, you can follow us on our social media platforms and our Telegram channel, wherein we solve doubts of the aspirants. Okay, so that's for today's class. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.